my name is Nicola Davis and I'm from the International School of Linguists. Today we will be talking about telephone interpreting, and joining me is the lovely Agnieszka. Now, before we start, would you like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Thank you so much, Nicola. I'm really excited and honored to be here. So my name is Agnieszka or Aggie Kwiecień, and I am a proud owner of my own business, Q Language Services, and I provide services for multiple different organizations, such as the Ministry of Justice, courts and tribunals, the NHS, and many others. And I provide face-to-face and remote interpretation and translation. And for the last, nearly 2 years, I've been specializing in remote solutions, both TI and VRI.
Lovely, thank you very much. Right, so let's get started. Why don't we start with the basics in terms of, what do you need for telephone interpreting, what equipment, and what other key elements are necessary?
So it, especially, the weather nowadays has been pampering us. So sometimes you might, be tempted to maybe go outside and sit in your garden. But an absolutely non-negotiable rule for doing telephone interpreting is that you have to do it from your own home or a rented office. And it has to be indoors, and it has to be in a quiet, private place where no one can overhear you. What you absolutely need is a good headset. I have a very cheap Sennheiser on. I think costs about £30. But you can even get cheaper ones than that for your mobile if you're using a mobile. And it's important for the headset to have noise cancelling and then like a directional microphone like the one I'm using. Using your phone is not very good, as similarly it's not very good to just use the speakers in your laptop if you do TI over your laptop. You need to be able to have the time when nobody's going to interrupt you. Children are not going to come knocking on your door, or a postman, or someone else, because it can be very distracting. Also, all the tech, it should be regularly checked, and before you sit down to do the session, or to log in and wait for the calls to come, you should make sure that everything's charged, that everything's on full power, that everything's working. If you're using your laptop, restart it before every session to just clear out the memory, and close all the windows. Also, make sure that you've got everything that you need at hand. So for example, I can show you a little crib sheet. For example, if you work for multiple agencies, and if you have to give multiple identification numbers, make sure you've got them all written down, and it says clearly how you introduce yourself, whether you introduce yourself with your name or your number, whether you introduce the company, or whether you use the white labeling, which is just saying that you are going to be providing the service. So make sure that you don't, scramble to find out how you put someone through, or how you, initiate the session. So make sure that you've got all of your tools, you've got prepared, at hand. And also, if you are using the internet, I would invest in the best internet connection you can afford, fiber if you can. So the fastest one with the largest throughput. For example, I am in a bit of a weird spot, so my internet connection was a bit patchy, and then I just switched to a business solution, which is far more expensive, but it's got a lot better customer service, and you get quicker response, because there's absolutely nothing worse than being in the middle of the session and then your connection just drops. So make sure that you've got all those things before you consider working in TI, because you will need absolutely each of these elements to provide good, consistent service.